Hey everybody, we are back with another draft video. This time we are drafting my cube, which I should be a lot better at drafting than I was at drafting Jay's cube we looked at last time. These card versions are wrong because we're using MTGA draft, but this is a little more reliable than Cube Cobra, so that's what we're sticking with for this draft. Alright, so here I am looking at a nice safe Marsh Flats pickup, a perhaps little spicy Dreadhorde Arcanist pickup. Dreadhorde Arcanist is a card I've really fallen in love with in my cube, and it has a really, really high power level ceiling if you build around it. The other, I think, defensible picks are Noble Hierarch, Prismatic Ending. I mean, honestly, none of these cards are terrible. Swords to Plowshares, Liliana's fine. I think I'm not in too spicy of a mood, so we're not going to go Arcanist. We're going to play it safe and take this Marsh Flats and go from there. All right. Hey, Zalno. Hey, Chain by Gix. Of course, love to respond to emails. That's a joke. I don't. But I did respond to yours, so I'm trying my best. All right. Now we have another fetch land. Scavenging Ooze, Burst Lightning, Ponder, Kess. All right. I think Ponder is in the cards that I will take above a fetch land. So I'm going to do that. Start on a little Marsh Flats Ponder. Nice and safe. Ooh, more fetch lands. Yeah. I think here, if I wanted to go a more opinionated direction, I could take a Golos. I know people really like Fractured Identity in a lot of powerful cubes. Mine is a lot lower curving than most cubes, so I don't think it's as good here as perhaps some people might be used to it being in, say, like the Magic Online Vintage Cube or what have you. Don't really want to commit to Golos yet, so I'm just going to, again, play it safe. The question is, do I want a Polluted Delta or a Scalding Tarn? I don't know. I'm leaning blue, and so this gives me more range than the Polluted Delta does because I already have a black fetch covered. Let's go there. All right, now what we got? There's Ashiok. Ooh, that's a pretty late Urza Saga. I really love this card. I think it's got a really high power level ceiling, so it's going to be Saga here. I think Ashiok, Damnation, Liliana of the Veil are all like good indicators for a certain type of like blue-black deck, but I'm taking Saga, baby. And I'm not even locked into blue. Like, who knows what could come down the lane next. Here. So, Third Path Iconoclast with Saga is pretty stupid. It's really, really strong. This is that, young Pyromancer variant that makes artifact creature tokens, and of course the tokens from Urza Saga care about number of artifacts, so you can go pretty dummy with it. It's also blue. I am always loath to pass a Portent, but I think it's going to be Iconoclast. Here we have a Flame Slash, a Censor, a Blood Crypt, a Hallowed Fountain. Let's sort this by, I want to sort this by mana value. There we go, much better. Flame Slash is basically just destroy target creature in this environment. And I'm not so sure I want to commit to black or white yet. I don't have a good reason to. If these were really, really late, or I got a really late Swords of Plowshares Wheels, then I should have taken this Hallowed Fountain. But let's play it safe and take the Flame Slash. Ooh, there's another Hallowed Fountain. There's also Grim Lavamancer. There's also Serum Visions and a Consider. I'm thinking Consider here. Probably. I mean, it's worth noting Bone Splitter is a pickup for Urza Saga. It's not the ideal pickup. It's not what I want for it. It's a late Grim Lavamancer, but I'm going Consider. Okay. Mu Yangling and K-Command and Night's Whisper are what I'm looking at here, I think. Mu is fine, but I think of her more... I mean, Mu is just a very, good stuff card. It just works in any deck. It doesn't really have any particular synergies, and for that reason, I could see myself cutting it from the cube in the nearish future. It doesn't really, inspire me as a drafter. Kolaghan's Command is a card I really love. Maybe we'll get the fixing for it. Otherwise, we're not passing up on much, I don't think, by passing on Mu. real safe start here. Nothing too out of the ordinary. Maybe I should have grabbed that Blood Crypt. Maybe. I do include 3 copies of every fetch, as we see coming around here. This is it. Okay, so... Oh, boy. So if I didn't just pick up K-Command, this would be probably a prismatic ending, I think. Which would put me into Jeskai something. I already have the K-Command, which I think means I gotta take the Blood Crypt. It also makes my Marsh Flats get red no matter what. Where, I guess Sacred Foundry would also do the same. I can't take another sort of third splashy color card, I think, so it's just Blood Crypt at this point. Collective Brutality is a great pickup if I end up playing enough black to make that castable. We will see. Embercleave is an artifact, and that's synergy with Urza Saga, is what I hear. This card is a relatively recent addition, maybe like, 3-4 months ago, and it's really impressed me. Even in like the games where it's not unfair, you just any kind of board stall, you just start equipping this thing for 3, and it's a huge problem. So, yeah, we're going to get an Embercleave in here. I don't know if we're going to play it, but I'm going to draft it right now. Happy Wednesday, everybody. The other advantage of MTGA draft is you get to see the sort of advancement of the draft, so you're never left sitting there wondering if the draft has frozen. I don't expect to play Liliana of the Veil. I'm in fact going to put that in my sideboard for right now. Let's honestly, put these cards down here too. Not thrilled about those. Peatland or Knight of the Ebon Legion. I mean, maybe we do go like full Grixis if we get enough fixing in the next pack. Sure. Supreme Verdict, not going to play that. And got the Bone Splitter for free. I will almost certainly play this Bone Splitter if I have enough cheap creatures because of the Urza Saga. It's no, the Spear. What's the Spear? The one that gives lifelink. Shadow Spear. It's no Shadow Spear, but it's something. I don't know if we'll be cleaving people. We'll see. All right, pack 2. Here we go. So... there's definitely a different way this draft could have gone, where I took the Hallowed Fountain instead of whatever I took over the Hallowed Fountain, and then the Prismatic Ending, and then right here I'd be slamming the Stoneforge Mystic to do mean stuff with Embercleave, but we did not go that direction, and I don't think we can back into it at this point, which makes this pack, I think, a very easy Snapcaster Mage for me. Double white is rough. Jace is fine, not good enough for me to be really excited about it. Uro's the best card in the pack, but we're pretty far from an Uro deck. But we are a pretty good Snapcaster deck, so here we go. Next pack, another fetch, which if we do want to play 3 colors, we're going to have to prioritize highly. Probably more important, though, is this Watery Grave, just to make sure we get a fetchable duel of that color combination. Plenty of other good cards in this pack for us. Dress Down, Abrade, Cut Down, Chromatic Star. But I think we got to take this dual land, and we'll get one of those back around. I would most prefer to get the Chromatic Star back if I had to pick one, but my second choice is the Dress Down. Maybe we'll get that. Let's see. All right. So, Tosiger, Sinkhole, Hieroglyphic Illumination, Cast Down, Magmatic Channeler, Sprite Dragon, and Twin Shot Sniper. A lot of options here. None of them are fantastic. Zenith, the cube has 2 sets of fetches and 3 sets of shocklands. So there are 3 of each combination. 3 Water Graves floating around, 3 Blood Crypts, etc. All I need now, I'm always happy to really just have 1 of each. So if I just pick up my my Steam Vents, I'll be pretty happy with my Fetchables, and then I'm just going to load up on fetch lands. It's between Twin Shot Sniper and Sprite Dragon here. We got 2 cantrips already. This is an artifact for... I mean... there's not really an artifact deck in this cube. As I say that, though, there's a lot of incidental stuff going on. I think Third Path Iconoclast really kind of unlocks a weird angle of this deck, but I'm taking the Sprite Dragon. Card's good. Curator of Mysteries. Lose Focus. Goblin Rabbit Master. Ooh. Retrofitter Foundry. That's the best pickup, I think, for the Urza Saga, so that's not close. That gives me a really, really good, like, grindy win condition. Also, there's Sensi's Divining Top, the next best pickup for that deck, I think. And it's worth noting, this is why Iconoclast is so great, because Iconoclast is going to trigger off of all that stuff. Retro Foundry, Bone Splitter. If I draw it and just cast it, it's going to trigger off it, which is going to be good. So, I think it's between Dismember, Sensei's Top, and Condescend here. I don't really think I have enough cheap creatures or plan to have enough cheap creatures. We're not playing this Knight yet right now. To play a Smuggler's Copter, as much as I love that card. Top can be a little dirtily. I've got, what, just 2 fetch lands right now. Go to Heaven Wave removal. I have K Command and Flame Slash for removal. Let's take top. Let's lean in a little bit to this artifact thing and see what we could do. There's another Blood Crypt. There's a Master of Death. Go for the Throat, Spell Snare, Fiery Confluence. Hey, what's up, One Kings? Howdy, howdy. Deep in a draft here. Let me think. I think I like the Spell Snare here. Spell Snare has really overperformed in my cube. I think probably based on what I'm familiar with of the like Magic Online cube dialogue, people will be expecting me to be excited about Fiery Confluence here, but I'm trying to be really low to the ground, really cheap, so I think this Spell Snare is a good pickup. I got a lot of 2-drops in this cube, so it'll do work. Alright, so Bomat Courier, another kind of sneaky pickup for the Saga. So, as much as I love V-Click, I think maybe this is a Bomat Courier deck. Normally I'd like a few more cheap creatures, but it's really good with Saga, obviously. We're really loading up on artifacts, which is pretty cool. Also, this card, if you play it on turn 1 and protect it just a little bit, can also just totally pay for itself. So, I think it's going to be Courier. Wasteland also great, for sure. I think if I was only in 2 colors, I'd be more enthusiastic about that Wasteland. But I am pretty firmly in 3 at this point. Cryptic Command, I love you so much. So Otawara, Ethereal Forger, Ulcerate, Cryptic Command. Are we like holding up the whole draft? Oh, we have 4 packs here. I'm talking too much. All right. We're not realistically going to be able to cast Cryptic Command. I'm taking Otawara. And then I'm going to take Seal of Fire, Den of the Bugbear. I think we're going to take, or Unearth. You know what? Let's take Unearth. I like Unearth here. I've got all the great targets for Unearth. I got a lot of what I mentioned in the last pack back around, Cut Down, Dress Down, Chromatic Star. Am I still as enthusiastic about Chromatic Star now that I have all these other 1-mana artifacts? Or do I want Cut Down for removal? I think we need another Cut Down at this point. It also takes us mana though. Not Chromatic Star, we're doing it. We're doing it. And then Sinkhole, sure. I have no other Delve stuff, so I'll probably end up playing that right now. Curator, sure. Fine cards, not really on strategy, but they work. This is kind of it. I mean, I've never really drafted a deck quite like this in my cube where I'm going so hard on the artifact themes. There's not really payoffs, quote unquote, for the artifacts other than Saga, but what else do you really need? I mean, Porcelain Legionnaire? That's a 2-drop. Ooh, go for the third Master of Death. So I like Master of Death a lot if I have ways to discard it, basically for value, and then buy it back. Without that, I think I want one more hard removal spell. I've added more like Bane Slayers to the cube, like powerful threats that demand removal, so I think Go for the Throat's kind of important. Scourge is a really good card. I don't really feel like I'm the deck for it, but it's really good. If I'm honest, I don't really want to play this Curator either, and let's be really optimistic and just go ahead and dump this Sinkhole over here in the 1-mana slot. All right, pack 3. Whew. Spicy here. So we have Ragavan, we have Expressive Iteration, we have Gitaxian Probe. These cards are banned or should be banned in lots of places. I already have my Watery Grave. I'm looking for a Steam Vents this pack. Verdant Catacomb is obviously a great pickup, but I think a lot of these cards are better than a fetch land, so it's just got to be Ragavan. Card's messed up. Very, very, very tiny chance I get Expressive Iteration back around. That would be fantastic. I don't think it's super likely, but it could happen. This is just a fetch land here. Prismari Command, more likely to come back than Expressive Iteration, and I would happily play it. Counterspell, I would also play, but I need the fixing right now if I'm planning on actually playing Grixis. How are we looking down here? We have 12 1-drops, 17, 18. We have 18 playables right now. Rabbit Battery, Firebolt, Memory Lapse, Fairy Vandal, Mutavault. Let's think here for a sec. So really only have the one counterspell right now in Spell Snare. We're like a very proactive, low to the ground spelly deck. We're not a like reactive one at the moment. Memory Lapse is really good in the more proactive decks because the more pressure you're putting on your opponent, the more it matters to essentially kind of time walk them a little bit. There's also Rabbit Battery, another artifact, and the haste has been really important. Though of my threats right now, I have Ragavan, which can have haste, Sprite Dragon, which always has haste, and Third Path Iconoclast, which a lot of the time won't be brawling anyway. So I'm not enthusiastic about that either. I think I'm going to take this Memory Lapse. Try and get a little more disruption going on here. See, if I had had something like a Seasoned Pyromancer before we saw the Master of Death, I would have been much more interested. Some broken cards in this pack for us. I mean, Pyromancer, Electrostatic Infantry, and Dig Through Time are all really messed up. Dig Through Time being the most messed up of them. Given that we're playing all these artifacts, we're not actually like throwing as many cards in the yard as we would be in other situations. Like, a lot of our one-drops here are not like cheap cantrips. We're just throwing stuff in the yard. I guarantee Theopolis right here is taking all my good stuff. And there's no way he's letting Expressive Iteration past him. He might have soaked up all of my Steam Vents. We'll see. Really want to get a Steam Vent still, but I think it's got to be this. Well, the question is, do we need another threat in Electrostatic Infantry? It doesn't trigger an artifacts, though, so I think it's got to be either Pyromancer or Dig. And I think Dig is the better card, but we have fewer cantrips here, and I think we need another threat, so it's going to be Seasoned Pyromancer here. Fiery Islet is almost Steam Vents. Almost. So Baleful Strix, Force of Negation, Daze, Manamorphose, Fiery Islet. How bad is our mana fixing going to be if we don't get that Steam Vents? I mean, pretty bad. I've only got 3 fetch lands, and if I don't have a Steam Vents, then that one doesn't get blue, and the one that doesn't get blue. I like Manamorphose or Daze here, I think. No, Baleful Strix is an artifact. Maybe I need like one more artifact payoff in this cube just to make it a little bit further. Because, you know, an artifact, just that, I mean, it matters for Urza Saga, but I gotta draw the Urza Saga, right? Daze is better if you have better mana fixing. It's gonna be Baleful Strix. Let's do that. Oh boy, we got 2 more picks to maybe get our Steam Vents. Cross your fingers. Pirate Spellbomb is a piece for the little package. And by little package, I mean big package. This is a big Urza Saga package. But I think it's Brazen Borrower. There's a pretty good chance this Pirate Spellbomb comes back. I like Lava Dart too, but Brazen Borrower is a threat plus disruption, which is really important. I'm not going to get my Steam Vents. I don't like that. I do like Miscalculation, Remand, and Forked Bolt, though. Those are all really good cards. I'm actually kind of light on removal, right? What do I got here? I've got a Flame Slash. I've got a... Oh, yeah, Baleful Strix is also great with Unearth. I like that pickup. I've got a Flame Slash, Magmatic Sinkhole, a Go for the Throat, a K Command, and a kind of a Brazen Bar. Get this out of here. We're not going to play that, I don't think. But Remand is so good in decks like this where you're pressuring your opponent. Just like Memory Lapse is much better in decks like this, and I already have Memory Lapse. How bad are we? I think I'm gonna go Remand here. I'm worried about bigger stuff. Ugh, no Steam Vents. Oy. Hey Silas, welcome. No Steam Vents. That's really rough. So, Bloodchief's Thirst, Tarfire, or Ironcrag Pyromancer. We don't have any Delirium payoffs, so Tarfire is just Shock. Shock's still very good. That's not a slight, but something to observe. Pyromancer, how many ways do we actually have to draw a second card a turn? We have Sensei's Divining Top, do it every turn. We have Consider, we have Ponder, we have Cycling on Earth, we have Chromatic Star, we have Baleful Strix, we have maybe Remand on our own turn. Seasoned Pyromancer. How light are we on threats? Right now we're winning the game with Urza Saga tokens, Sprite Dragon, Third Path Iconoclast tokens, Seasoned Pyromancer. You know what? I'm going to do it. I'm going to take Ironcrag Pyromancer. This card is a recent addition. I think it's pretty good. We got the Git Probe back. That's disrespectful. Any deck can play that card. Really upset we didn't get a another Steam Vent, so I'm looking at this Watery Grave now too and wondering if I just have to take another Watery Grave. So how many red sources do we have right now? Marsh Flats is a red source because it gets Blood Crypt. Wooded Foothills is a red source. So all of our fetches get red, so blue is going to be our choke point. Watery Grave does not help in terms of making Wooded Foothills fetch for blue, but it's another blue-black source. You know what else fixes mana? Gataxian Probe. I'm going to draw cards. All right, we got the Prismari command back. Certainly like that here over any of these other options. Rabbit Battery is a good pickup too. We're really doing the artifact thing. We'll see if we have room for it in the final deck. Infantry, I mean, that could get played. Force Negation, sure. Nobody's playing the green ramp deck, and we got that. All right. How did this draft go? What are we at? It gives me 35 minus 7, so I'm at 28 non-lands right now. Definitely got to make some cuts. I guess it's waiting for the whole draft to finalize, even though I'm done drafting already. Hoi. How do we build this then? Is there a way to get this into multiple rarity type? Oh, it just doesn't know the type for some. Oh no, it takes the first type. So a lot of these are artifact creatures, but it puts them in the creature category instead of the artifact category. All right, let's go back to CMC. We're going to go to 2 rows. So we have creatures and non-creatures. Or the way I actually like to organize this is things I'm going to play on curve versus things I'm not going to play on curve. So like, sure, Ponder and play that on curve. Rabbit Battery is probably not going to make it just because of the nature of my threats. I like it well enough, but I've got stuff that's already got haste or is not going to like hit super hard the turn it comes down. Gataxian Probe, that costs 0 mana. Silly billies. Force of Negation also costs 0 mana a lot of the time. Okay, let's actually figure out how messed up our mana situation is. That is my dog scratching at the door. But guess what? I'm drafting, Sadie. No time to come get you. Alright, so we have... I'm not going to count Urza Saga as a land right now. I'm going to count Otawara, though. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 non-basics. Of those, Scalding Tarn is blue, Watery Grave is blue, Marsh Flats is blue, Otawara is blue. How many did I just say? Scalding Tarn, Watery Grave, Marsh Flats, Otawara. So 4 blue sources. Don't you auto land me. I don't want you to auto land anything. Get out of here. Get out of here. Start from scratch. I wish it would actually show the basics in the pile, but it doesn't do that. So that's 4 blue sources. Black sources is pretty good. Blood Crypt, Scalding Tarn, Watery Grave, Wooded Foothills, Marsh Flats. So all 6 of those are black sources. So let's go up 2 islands just right off the bat to bring things to even amounts of blue and black sources. And then red, 1, 2, 3, 4 red sources. So the same for red. Let's put 2 mountains in here. And that puts us on 7 plus 4 is 11 lands. And that's just 6 of each source. 6 is not a lot. I don't like that. You can kind of count this Chromatic Star as a source. Kind of. Double red for Seasoned Pyromancer could prove to be challenging. Put this down here, actually. I think we ended up with enough interaction between Prismari Command, K Command, Magmatic Sinkhole, Flame Slash, Baleful Strix, kind of, and an Ironcrag Pyromancer to not start this go for the throat. So I'm going to bring that in out of the sideboard. So now black really is a splash for Baleful Strix, K Command, and Unearth. I'm happy splashing all of those cards. Unearth is really high value here with Ragavan, Snapcaster Mage, Baleful Strix, Sprite Dragon, Third Path Iconoclast, Ironcrag Pyromancer, Seasoned Pyromancer. And when I can't cast it, I can just cycle it. So I think I'm going to be happy with just 7 black sources. So let's do that. Oops, not a plains. I want a swamp. 7 black sources. I think that will be enough. 8 if you count the Chromatic Star. And that puts us to 12 lands. So I'm probably going to play a full 17 lands here, including the Saga, which means 16, which means I'm probably going to play 2 more each of Islands and Mountains, which gives me 8 sources of each of those, 9 if you count the chromatic star. And that means I need 2 cuts if I do that. Let's actually leave this down here, but let's put Retrofitter Foundry up here because of what that does. So let's go things that kill my opponent versus things that don't kill my opponent down here. What's the cut? I'm looking at, honestly, probably electrostatic infantry. I've got what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 ways to trigger it. That's okay, but the fact that what would other? Oh, I'm sorry, more over here, the Gitaxian Probe too. But it's definitely the worst 2-drop I have. It's going to be annoying to keep track of. This is non-creature as well. Yeah, Sprite Dragon also works really well on our deck. You took all my Steam Vents, didn't you, Theo? That's what I guess. I guess you took all my Steam Vents. Do you have 3 Steam Vents in your pool, you greedy little piggy? Mad at you. I need one more cut then. I think the temperature of my computer screen just changed. Yes. It turns out Theo has 2 of the Steam Vents. The last one probably soaked up by a 5-color deck of some sort, 4 or 5-color deck of some sort. This is why I have 3 Shocklands in here. I feel like people always think it's overkill, but I literally never saw Steam Vents in the entire draft. I'm pretty sure. I'll be able to check the video to confirm, but... Alright, I think the last cut's Bone Splitter. It's fine, but considering all the other hits we have, it's pretty good with the flying stuff, like Baleful Strix and Sprite Dragon, and it is pretty good to slap on an Urza's token, but otherwise it's not really on strategy for the deck. So we're going to cut that. This is the deck, I think, and I feel okay about it. 3 is it drafters? What? What? Very rude. I'm Grixis, to be fair, and I spent all of my picks on colorless cards. Yeah, this is an interesting deck. So it has like pretty aggressive draws, especially if I, obviously start on Ragavan and then, chain together some cantrips and protection and, get something going with Third Path Iconoclast or something like that. It also has some very grindy ways to play, I think, with, going really big with Retrofitter Foundry and Urza's Saga and just making a huge board that honestly even the like big green mid-range decks will have a hard time competing with. And in those matchups, that's where I'll bring in stuff like Go for the Throat. Oh, the Collective Brutality is on our sideboard down here. Oh, I love that card, but I think it's probably not going to make... Oh, we still have this Embercleave, too. Embercleave... Hold on a second. Hold on one ding-dang second. All right, I think we have plenty of ways to double draw with Pyromancer that it's worth it. Let's just count those again. We have Gitaxian Probe, Chromatic Star, Consider, Ponder... I'm not going to count Cycling Unearth. Nothing up there. Then we have Baleful Strix. Then we have... I'm not going to count Remand either. We have Seasoned Pyromancer, Prismari Command. We have 7 ways to double draw cards, and one of them... I'm sorry, 8 ways to double draw cards, and one of them is Sensei's Divining Top, which is repeatable, and we can tutor for that half of the combo, quote-unquote, right? Like, if we... have Pyromancer in hand or in play, we can tutor up Divining Top with Saga and just bolt a thing a turn. That's a pretty good little engine if I can get it going. This is a tough build. I'm not sure what I should be doing here. There's something to be said for maybe shaving one of these counter spells. I do have a lot of instants, though. Instant. So I can hold up a lot of stuff on my opponent's turn. I can also hold up activations. No, I like the counter spells. I can hold up activations of Retrofitter Foundry, of Urza's Saga, counter things if I have to. So I'm not going to cut those. How good is Snapcaster Mage here? It has to be good, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Yeah, that's good enough. If we put Embercleave in, I don't know what the last cut is. It is double red. All right, Embercleave is a little too spicy. I'm going to leave it out for now. I'm going to bring that card in some matchups, though. I don't know what matchups, but I'm going to do it, and it's going to be something. A lot of good sideboard options here, I think. Against certain decks, I'll just be very happy to have a 4/4 flyer, Rabbit Battery, do things in certain decks, or against certain opponents, Ember Cleave, Go for the Throat, Collective Brutality. Lots of good sideboard options. I think this is the main deck I'm going to go with. I like this deck. I like playing this kind of Magic. I don't think it's fantastic. It's definitely going to have some clunky draws, but the fact that Sprite Dragon and Iconoclast trigger off of all of these artifacts, it's a really, really good Urza Saga deck, just in terms of the package for Urza Saga. So, yeah, really the thing it's missing most is just a Steam Vents. A Steam Vents would have made a big difference. And instead, I feel like we're on a kind of shaky mana base. We have a 9/9/8 mana base if you count the Chromatic Star. Do I just shave that swamp and make it an island instead? That leaves me with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That leaves me with 6 black sources if you count Chromatic Star for Baleful Strix, Unearth, and K-Command. Also treasures off of Ragavan. I'm going to do it. I think that swamp I'm almost never going to want to draw. I'm going to go in Weather Island, make our mana a little better. The blue cards are also going to help us stay alive and find what we're looking for. Zauno, yeah, I would definitely... drafting a deck like this does make me wish I had one more artifact payoff. I don't think I need many more. I think if there was just one more, you saw how the draft went, just Saga and Third Path Iconoclast is all I needed to get me into this deck. It would just be kind of cool if there was one more little payoff for prioritizing things like artifact-type creatures like Baleful Strix, and taking stuff like that. I didn't get the Pyrite Spellbomb back. I'm now remembering. You know what? I bet the Luris player ended up with the Pyrite Spellbomb. Wherever they were, they got that Pyrite Spellbomb. So, yeah, I think one more artifact path could be really cool. I don't know what it would be. I have to do some scryfalling and think about it. All right, that's the deck. That's what we're gonna play. Should be fun games no matter what. So, yeah. We got a lot of positive feedback on the last draft video, so we're going to keep doing this and just record me drafting. We can also maybe convince Anthony to record himself drafting sometimes. I feel like he probably might not like that as much as I do. I love the spotlight. So, yeah, subscribe, tell your friends. See you, YouTube.